Well, hey, my friends, welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited for today's episode as we continue to break down the core concepts of Illuminate You Collective. If you've been listening to the last few episodes, you know we've been walking through, and we're going to continue to walk through the 5 core concepts that form the foundation of the collective. And today's episode is all about the second and third pieces of the puzzle. So we're going to be diving into core concept number 2, which is to build emotional resilience. And this third one is to use the Triple C belief breakthrough method. So these two go hand in hand, and they're absolutely essential if you want to shift out of overwhelm, if you want to shift out of the problem and into possibility. If you are in burnout, it will help you shift out of burnout and into alignment. So if you've ever felt like your emotions get the best of you, or like your thoughts are keeping you stuck, this episode is going to speak directly to that. And sometimes what I find is that we don't even know the thoughts that are there because they've been there for a really long time. So let's dive into this. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I'm your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. You've probably heard the term resilience before, but let's break it down, especially in the context of a life of a mompreneur. Emotional resilience is your ability to bounce back from challenges and handle stress in a healthy way. I also my kind of side definition is I like to think of as your ability to grow through the challenges. Instead of bouncing back, I like to think of it as growing through the challenges and handling stress in a healthy way. So whether you feel the need to bounce back or grow through, whichever you can borrow, whichever one feels the most encouraging to you, that's what I like to think of emotional resilience. It's about growing strong on the inside in your mindset and your emotions so that when chaos hits, because it does, life's sometimes, you don't crumble. Instead, you bend, you flex, you adjust, and then you come back stronger, or at least steady. So in some plain language for you, emotional resilience is you feel your feelings, but you're not ruled by them. They're not in the driver's seat. They're there. And this is a journey, believe me, this is a journey that I have personally been on for some time now, is allowing myself to feel the feelings, but also not allowing myself to be ruled by them. So we want to feel all the emotions. Emotions are energy in the body, and it's okay to feel the feelings, but we don't want to allow them to be in the driver's seat. The second is you process stress instead of ignoring it or pushing it down. So I'm a fixer by nature, meaning I can really quickly process through stress and get to the other side. But sometimes I rush that process, or I ignore it, or I push it down. I push the emotion down. I push the stress down instead of actually dealing with it. And so to me, emotional resilience also is this ability to hold any emotion, including the negative ones, and still create safety there for yourself. You maintain perspective. So when you have emotional resilience, you maintain perspective. You see setbacks for what they are, not a reflection of your worth. And I will say that where I am now with this is, just the amount of growth that entrepreneurship has given me in this specific department. You see me now as a very successful, confident, woman, but that wasn't always the case for me. And I know that's hard to wrap your brain around, but that's not who I've always been. And I do think it's one of my biggest success tools today is that I can see setbacks as opportunities. I can see obstacles as opportunities because in every opportunity, there is an obstacle. And in every obstacle, there is an opportunity. It's just, what is your perspective? What are you looking at? How are you seeing it? Emotional resilience is also your ability to adapt. So you don't fall apart when plan A gets canceled. You're able to flex and shift to plan B. So that also is kind of some language for you for emotional resilience. Why does this matter? Well, because entrepreneurship is unpredictable. I say it all the time. Like, we don't actually own businesses, we own roller coasters. And they go up and they go down and they go around. And sometimes there's some upside down moments in business. Mom life is also unpredictable. And you put the two of them together, and you're guaranteed to face stress and trials and detours and disappointments and upside down moments. And if you don't have the emotional resilience, those challenges pile up and they push you straight towards the burnout. They push you straight towards throwing in the towel. So one bad day can knock out your whole week if you don't have this muscle built up. One piece of criticism can send you into a shame spiral. And one tech failure can make you want to throw the computer across the room and quit everything. And I can say all this because I've experienced it all. But when you have resilience, you bounce back, not break. You reset faster. You stop making every challenge mean something about your worth. Again, that's such a piece of resilience and emotional growth that I have had as an entrepreneur is every challenge that I've come across or a failure that I have experienced, not making it mean something negative about me or my worth. It's like becoming the rubber ball instead of the raw egg. The same impacts, but wildly different results, right? You drop the rubber ball, it bounces back. Drop the egg, it's going to be shattered. So really building your resiliency to be able to bounce back, to be able to grow through some of these challenges that are just coming. They are. So what it looks like in your daily life is when your kids have a meltdown, it doesn't unravel your entire mood. Your peace and your calm and your productivity is not determined by if your kid's in a meltdown or not. You can still find that within yourself. Maybe it's a snarky comment from a relative about your business hobby. I say that in quotes, doesn't sting the same way anymore because you don't make it mean anything negative about you. And a rough week doesn't make you question your calling. Now, this is not about perfection. There are days or when I've had a rough week and I mean, I do question, but I bounce back quicker. I have the tools now and the skill sets now to be able to catch it and see it and make some adjustments. You're more patient, you're more present, you're more grounded. And when you're grounded, you're aligned, and that's what we want. So, how we build this inside the collective is through mindset exercises, self coaching tools, boundary setting, really establishing some self care routines that actually work for you. This is not just about bubble baths and girls' weekend trips. Like, really, what is your self care routine that actually works for you? And there's a community support. You have a hype girl group of support because doing this work in isolation is harder than it needs to be. So when you're in a community and you get to see, oh, I'm not the only one that kind of goes and spins out or has these spirals or has these negative thoughts or is working on this emotional resilience. And over time, you'll notice that the things that used to push your buttons, they just don't have the same grip anymore. They just don't. That's a self-concept work. And so you recover faster, you feel more confident, and you stop living in survival mode. You stop living in, if everyone else is okay, then I can be okay. But if everyone else is in chaos, then I'm going to be in chaos. Like, you stop living in that survival mode and you take responsibility and you build that muscle. It's just like going to the gym. You got to put your reps in. And so many of us try to do this work on our own. And here's the deal. If you could have done this alone, you would have already done it. If you could have created your own emotional resilience, if you could have created work-life harmony, if you could have been able to build the business at the pace and from a place of strength on your own, you would have already done this, friend. And so I really want you to examine that and question, like, what is the next step? Hey, friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Martine is probably the most versatile coach out there. She meets you where you are, whether it's personal or professional challenges, mindset, ideas, brainstorming, or digging into business analytics. She's so relatable and accepting that I truly believe she could help almost anyone.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. So the third core concept is to use what I call the triple C belief breakthrough method, because emotional resilience is powerful, but there's another layer, and it's your beliefs. Even a resilient person can get stuck if they're still believing the same stories that don't serve them or that are not the most useful thoughts. And so this is where learning the triple C belief breakthrough method comes in. And so the triple C's are catch, check, and change. I've talked about it here on the podcast before. We got to catch your thoughts. We got to know and notice and be aware of what you're thinking about. Like, what was the sentence that just came across your brain? You don't have to believe it. And catch it before it sets up camp and like camps out there for days, weeks. And so having the opportunity to come to a group breakthrough session and to be inside of a community that can help you catch it sooner. Because I'm telling y'all, I have had a coach or been in a coaching program for the last 18 years of some sort. And it's amazing to me. I like to think of myself as a pretty well coached brain. I still have my blind spots and I still like, oh, well, that's a tricky thought. Where did that come from? And it's just not something that we're taught. So you might have some thoughts like, I'm a bad mom because I can't do everything, or I'm not cut out for this, or if I slow down, I'll fall behind. And these thoughts often feel they're automatic, but just because a thought is familiar doesn't mean that it's true or that it's the most useful thought. It could be a true thought. It could be a fact of your life that you're thinking about, and it still not be something that's useful for you to think about. So we got to catch it, and then we got to check it, and to really challenge it. Is this fact? Is this fear? Would I say this to a friend? What is the actual evidence here? So learning the skill set to do this, and building the habit of doing this work for yourself is a lifetime value skill set that you will take for the rest of your life. It's a well-managed brain is everything. It really, really is. So the third part is then to change it. So we've caught the thought, we've checked the thought, and now you get to decide, what am I going to intentionally choose to think about? What is the thought that I'm going to think about? So an old belief might be I'm failing everywhere, and the new belief is I'm juggling a lot and I'm doing my best. I've had wins and I've had setbacks and I'm still showing up. Like, there's just a different energy that shows up when you change your language to yourself versus I'm failing everywhere. Truthfully, I'm juggling a lot and I'm doing my best, and I've had my wins and I've had my setbacks, but I'm still showing up. Feels very, very different. Why does this matter? Because your beliefs shape your behavior. Your behavior shapes your results, and your results shape your reality. If your core belief is that you have to hustle to be worthy, or I will never reach success, or successful people are only those really talented people, or I'm behind, or success has to be hard, you have to work really, really hard to be successful, you're going to feel that pressure in every area of your life. But when you start rewriting those beliefs, everything shifts. Everything shifts. And this is a daily practice. So when I first resigned from 31 and decided to go all in on building out my coaching business, which I had while I was with 31, but I really obviously kind of dove all in once I was no longer with 31. One of the beliefs that I had was that it was harder to sell coaching than it was to sell the products that I was selling with 31 for 16 years. And it's crazy when I think about it now, but that belief was so true to me. So true that I sought out specific coaches to try to help me make it easier or to help me figure out, like, why is this harder? I hesitated. I downplayed my value. And it wasn't until I caught that belief and checked it and changed it that I realized this is just a thought error. It's not true because I see plenty of people selling coaching with ease and getting results and building their business. And so from that moment forward, once I saw it for what it was and intentionally chose a different thought, everything changed. I started signing clients. I started becoming more creative in how I talked about it. I just had a level of confidence that was really lacking. It didn't come from the sales, it came from the thought. And so a lot of us try to change our behavior before we change our thoughts. We try to change internal things externally, right? If I just had the right marketing program, if my kids were just at this level or at this age, or if my husband just encouraged me more, like we look at the external to actually improve the internal. And it's an inside job. Success is an inside job, and it's not an accident. Successful people are just willing to do what the unsuccessful people who are not willing to do. And a lot of the unsuccessful people are not willing to do this type of work. They grind it out, they push harder, and they don't spend the time managing their thoughts and their brains. And that is the difference. It's not that they're more talented, it's just they're willing to do this work and to look in the mirror and to check their thoughts and to get in that rhythm. It's a daily rhythm, it's a daily discipline, but it will be the tool that will take you to success at home and at work. So, can you tell I'm passionate about this piece? And so, we do a lot of mindset work in the program. We do a lot of thought work. We do a lot of checking in with our thoughts. And yes, there's strategy and there's systems and there's things like that in there too. But again, what I find is we try to change our behaviors and we white knuckle it and we push and we're not even addressing, well, what are the thoughts that are actually producing my results? Because remember, your thoughts produce your results. So if you've been feeling stuck in patterns that don't serve you anymore, if any of this is resonating with you, if your emotions are running the show or your thoughts are quietly sabotaging your progress, this is your next step, friend. To build your emotional resilience, to shift your beliefs and start experiencing alignment in your business and life that you've been craving, for you to build success at home without sacrificing at work and vice versa. So Illuminate You Collective is the program, and I want to walk you through exactly how to do this step by step, how to do this work step by step. So you can get all of the details and enroll and save your spot at martinewilliams.com/the collective. And in our next episode, we're going to zoom out and look at the bigger picture of your life, your daily rhythms, your priorities, and what needs to shift to create sustainable success, which is another core concept. But for now, just know this: you're not too emotional. Your emotions are all welcome inside the program. You're not behind and you're not stuck. You're just one belief and one aligned decision away from your breakthrough. So we'll talk soon. I'll catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.